I mean, I would. You're not. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're blonde and you're tall,
okay,
but like you're like really hot. So I would still go on a date with you. Because I may have a type. Okay, listen, I may have a type, but I'm human. Okay,
Yeah, you don't
human.
say no to hot. This is what I try to explain to men. Like, even if somebody has a type, and men, this is the same thing. Like, okay, my ex-husbands that I've eaten, my most serious like ex-husband relationships, I wasn't their type. Do you know why? Because I made the first move. And this is something not all the time, but men, you typically make the first move on women who are your type. I would make the first move and they were like, whoa, she might not be my type everywhere, but like, I'm not saying no. She's making the first move. She's ever, And so I don't think it's so bad. Like, yeah, you're only human, right?
Yeah, you're only human after all. And just because somebody I meet is tall doesn't, like, what if they're like the perfect person for me, but they just happen to be tall? I'm not gonna like be like, no, it's never gonna work. You're too tall for me.
You know, my flesh mother would
unless
say,
you're like 6'5" or something, it may be a little more difficult for me. But
honestly, there is such a thing as too tall because your neck hurts. You know what my mother used to always say? So there's two things. If you say like, oh, a guy is really tall, in Russian, it's like a tall stick is good for mixing shit, meaning like it doesn't matter if he's tall or not. And number two, what my mom would say, she'd say, we're all the same height and dead horizontally.
Yeah, no, like my friends, like I've never thought about height like in that way. Like, like if I like somebody and they're shorter, I don't fucking care. Like growing up, my friends that were girls that like dated guys, like one of my friends was always just dating guys that happened to be shorter than her. Yeah. If anything, the short guys are more confident because I think they know that they have to be a lot more open to and they're the ones that would always talk to my friends first and shit. And then they're like, yeah, why not? Why the hell not? And then they'll do it.
Not all short men, but for example, my mother's husband, he's a little bit shorter than me. He has a six-pack and he is like very, very old because he goes to the gym. He takes that. Not all short kings, but most short kings I've noticed, y'all go a little bit harder on the gym, on learning, how to be good emotionally, everything. Like you just kind of work a little bit harder in life. And you try a little bit harder, and like that's really hot.
Yeah, it's true.
That's really hot, and we really like the effort. We really appreciate it.
The older you get, the more you realize that like things like looks and don't mean anything. Yeah. It's more of like it's more linked to cleanliness. You know what I mean? Like if you're not
okay. Said the girl who likes the disheveled guy that looks like he didn't sleep all night.
We call it hair, okay. Well, okay, like that's why I say they look like they don't shower, but they shower.
They do.
Yeah. And like, but for girls, I like black-haired beauties.
That's it. You just like them with black hair, long or short, or any preference? Damn, she just likes them with black hair. That's it. Just.
I think by default, I would give a woman a chance just if she like, if you have black hair and a wolf cut and you ask me out on a date, like 90% chance I'm gonna be like, okay.
Okay. Michi, I'm so sorry. I might need to introduce you to my good friend Usan.
Usan?
I think I might just need to introduce you to,
So like there's a thing do you know what a futch is?
A what?
Guys, I knew she would react like that.
A futch?
See, y'all, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean when I say like it's hard for like a lot of people who are LGBT. Like they don't usually even consider somebody who's straight, even if they're like flirting, because like it's very just different. Like
yeah.
So like futches are like an in-between of butch and femme.
Oh, a foot. Okay.
So it's like they're not completely like masculine, but they're not completely femme.
Okay.
And so like it's like a little tomboy, but they're not like butch. Butch is like pretty masculine.
Yeah.
And femme is like
feminine
long
tomboys. I get it.
But usually it ends up being the wolf cut.
Yeah, I agree. The wolf cut is like, I completely agree with you. The wolf cut is like, I'm a, like feminine tomboy, right? I completely agree. Yeah.
Depending on how you like.
So your type is like feminine tomboy.
I really like feminine girlies, but it doesn't mean that I if you have black hair, you have
black hair, call Numi.
And you also, if they like, if they're into 5'3" Filipino white girls that don't leave the house as very often. You know what, I lied. I have very low standards because I don't really attract people that much in the first place. So like, if somebody's interested in me and they happen to have black hair, I'm like, okay, wow, this is farther than I thought. Like, this is more than I've ever expected.
You know who has long black hair and like long nails and is really feminine?
Who?
Michi.
Okay, is it Usan or is it Michi? Which one do you
Both.
see me with more?
I mean, listen. Battle Royale, baby. You gotta be a hot commodity. You gotta get a little, you gotta. Oh.
No, I think I've looked up Usan before.
Shoto had a concert with them in Thailand where I went.
Them up.
Yeah,
I looked them up from that, and then in my brain I was like, yeah, they're hot as too.
Yeah. Usan is extremely, and like Usan is just like, yeah. I think if I had a type, it would probably be Usan. Genuinely. Yeah. So I get it.
I feel like Usan's got like the vibes that I think girls and guys would be very much into.
Everybody's
like
into Usan.
Androgynous kind of, very much like, yeah.
Everyone's like, ooh.
They're like, oh.
Well, if you are going to Thailand, Usan's there quite often, so you should.
Matara, though, you have to remember, like, the kind of person I am. Am I somebody that you think would be good for your close friends? In the end,
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, y'all are adults.
In
the nicest way ever, yes, Usan also has some issues as well in life. You're not the only one that's gonna come in. Yeah, Usan is also a little bit, they've also been through struggle and turmoil in their life. Don't worry.
I'm starting to realize, like, a lot of people that are close friends have also gone through turmoil.
Yeah, actually, I think I think I have a hard time being really close friends with people if they haven't, because like, if you grew up like immigrant family, having your own personal, family trauma, sometimes it's tough to be friends with people who like maybe don't get struggle at all. Like, oh, really? My life was great. You're like, ooh.
Need people to be empathetic. If they're not empathetic,
Exactly.
It's really difficult.
Exactly. Yeah, why are you trying to fumble the friendship, huh? Just let yourself be friends with my friends. What's wrong with that?
Well, I could be friends with Michi, but like Usan is like very, very much like the epitome of my type. So I would run the other way.
Well.
Yeah, like if it was, I was in your stream that one time. You're talking about how like when Min and Michi were together, like Michi sat as far away as she possibly could.
Yeah.
That would be me.
Well, it's too bad because like every time I've hung out with Usan, it's always like we're going for drinks at an izakaya or like we're doing hookah or something. So it's like very close. Like we're just all yapping and talking one with the other. So
I do love tequila.
Yep.
You know what they called me in Japan?
What?
Tequila garu.
That's so freaking cute. What the hell? Oh, I saw that you ran into the TikToker guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How did that go?
Oh my God. It's so beautiful. Oh my God.
He's also like very androgynous. Wait, what? Held hostage?
He's just beautiful. Yeah, so I was held hostage like right before that. And the second I came out, I'm like, oh my God, the only thing that would make me feel better is if I saw Tokyo Sim. And then Gary's like, oh, he's right there. And I was like, oh my God.
You're like, wait, are you kidding me? Like, it's a joke, right?
And then, yeah, he was there. And then I was like, hey, I have a picture with you. And then I asked one with and without the mask.
Yeah.
He was like, what? Why? And I was like, oh, I'm like a VTuber. And he's like, oh, so like you like do things like with your like little model. You go like we. And I'm like, yeah.
You go like
so
we.
Oh my God, he knows me so well. And yeah, so best night of my life in Japan, I think. Yeah.
I'm so sorry, but what do you mean by being held hostage in Japan?
Oh, yeah. My friend, she was a fan of like those idols and the J-pop idols. And you know how the J-pop culture is hella different from like K-pop culture?
Yep.
So there's
I know. I have a friend who's into idols. Mint. Oh, I know.
Yeah. So I went to one of the shows because my friend is very much into like idols. But her favorite idol is part of not a huge one. And so she's like, hey, they need people and like I'll get a gift if you come as my +1. I was like, hey, I have something to do at this time, but I can come in and leave if that's what.
And they just wouldn't let you leave.
They would not let me leave because then she wouldn't get the benefits, but also I couldn't leave because she and I got separated from each other and there was no connection.
So they would not let you leave without like her confirming that you could leave, or
because she had my like the ticket thing that I gave it to her so that she could get her benefits. But then she went inside and said like, oh, figure it out. I have to leave. And then she like left. And then like, but people, I think, would villainize her if I said it just like that. But I want people to understand
that it wasn't.
Prior to this, we did other events before, and that rule change happened that night, and so neither of us knew.
So it's absolutely not like malicious or anything. Like, please don't take it out. Yeah.
No, like by the time we figured it out, there was no connection and she couldn't use her phone.
Ooh.
And so when I tried to contact her, nothing happened. And I was just talking to the security guard the whole time. And then Giri came and Onibro and Yuzu, and they were like ready to call the cops and fight them. And I was like, no, I'll just wait. And so then, I was pretty much held hostage until it was over, which was really wild. And then after
that, they just like would not let you leave the venue.
No, the guy there didn't speak much English, but he was like, we cannot let you leave, I'm sorry. And then I was like, what the I was literally using Google Translate and showing him what I was saying, and I said like, I want to die right now. And then he was like laughing, and then
he's like, ha ha, you want to die, how dramatic.
I don't think he ever met somebody like me before, and so he was like, what the and so
he's like, silly foreigner who wants to die.
They took him away from me because he and I were like becoming really having a good time together, and I guess they don't like fun, so they got rid of him. And then when I was
crazy,
I went into the venue to just watch the end, and I was like, what the hell, whatever. And then he was like by there, that's where they moved him. And then when it was over, I was like, oh my God, I'm free. And then I went up to him and I was like, can I go? And then he's like, oh, no, I'm sorry. Like, I can't go with you. I have to work. And I was like, no, can I
want to
leave?
go.
And he was like,
yeah.
And then he was like, oh, yeah, you can leave.
I just don't understand why you couldn't leave during the show. What was it in the end that you just couldn't leave during the show? That's so weird.
Because people abuse the system. There was like 50 other people in the lobby just like me that wanted to leave after the admission because people abuse the system for the
free.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah, imagine
and again,
how... I've never seen like Yuzu and like Giri and them look that mad before in my life, bro. It was funny.
Oh my God. I'm thinking about it. Like, how would I feel in the moment? I probably, I don't know. Did you have to wait long? Was it like 2 hours or?
It was like 2.5, 3.
Oh my God. And you're like, without your friend, not really like, you're into this group, of course. Like, you like music, but you don't, like, it's not really.
I was more panicked because I was like, what the is going on? Like, why can't I leave? Like, I was really startled. And then my friend became the security guard, but then they took him away from me. I'm like, okay, what now? What? I want to die. What the and then
I don't think I would have raised hell. And this is something that like I've talked about with some of my friends who like, you know, in some cases maybe some Japanese people might think you're like local, but for me they certainly won't. And I feel like as a non-local, I have to act better because I don't want to give like foreign people a bad name.
Yeah, and also I don't know. I
just don't want to cause a ruckus. I know, we've seen those videos, right?
Numi? It wasn't like, why am I gonna get mad at him? Like Yuzu and Giri and them were getting really mad at him. I'm like, why? It's not his fault. It's the higher ups. And he was like trying to say, he's like, I can't do anything. It's the higher ups, and then they'll get mad at me, and I can't. And I was like, I don't want him to get in trouble. Like,
no,
he's too. And then I think he understood what I said when I said this, but I was like saying to like Giri and Yuzu, I'm like, hey, I'm just gonna stay here. Like, he's too cute to like to suffer because of me. Like and then he started like giggling, and then that's I think why when I said like, can I go? I think he thought I was asking him to go home with me.
He's like, no, I have to work, girl. You're like,
and I was like, bro, I'm in. Like, can I leave? And he was like, oh, yeah.